Hello, my name is Emma Atkins and I'm an aviation psychologist at Symbiotics. Today I'm going to talk to you about the assessment and selection process you may face before starting your pilot training, including how you can best prepare yourself throughout the process by understanding a bit more about what to expect and how you can prepare yourself for the different stages of assessment you may face. A little bit more about who we are at Symbiotics. Symbiotics specialize in assessment and selection of individuals within high risk or stressful situations, particularly within the aviation sector. We provide services globally across 58 countries in 5 continents to commercial aviation organizations and airlines, training organizations, air forces, and business jet operators. Our online selection and assessment tool, ADAPT, includes a range of aptitude tests and assessments that are designed to measure competencies across all levels of candidates and predict performance in the training or operational environment in a number of roles within aviation, including pilots, cabin crew, engineers, and other aviation professionals. We also conduct interviews, group exercises, and other assessment methods you may experience as a future pilot, which can also form part of a developmental process for pilots looking to transition between different roles or environments throughout their career. We work alongside our clients, but also support individual candidates looking to practice their skills ahead of their assessments through our e-commerce website, offering practice tests and interviews and feedback sessions. So, what is pilot aptitude testing? We'll start at the beginning by understanding a little bit more about pilot aptitude tests themselves. So these tests are a form of psychometric testing that provide an insight into your suitability for a particular role or training program by assessing the core pilot competencies set out by ICAO, in addition to any other key areas defined by the organisation you are applying to, as they may have their own additional requirements. Before you join a flight training organisation or airline cadet programme, you'll likely experience some form of assessment so the airline or training organisation can gain an understanding of your skills, motivation, knowledge and behaviour in order to see if you're a suitable fit for the position. You'll likely continue to experience these types of tests throughout your pilot career, particularly if you move to a different aircraft fleet, upgrade from a first officer to a captain position, or move into a complementary flying role such as instructing. As well as providing an insight into your suitability for a role, another reason for assessment is compliance with industry regulations. For example, in Europe, a new regulation came into effect February of last year, set out by EASA, stating that organisations must ensure all pilots receive a psychological evaluation before commencing line flying, covering 4 key assessment criteria. By measuring these criteria, airlines and organisations can ensure that they have the right people in the right positions, which is one way to enhance safety, as well as ensuring the operation is as effective as possible and that they employ pilots who fit their organisation's work culture. So, why are pilot aptitude tests so important? It's important for both the ATO and you as a future pilot that there is an appropriate selection process in place. For the ATO, this process ensures the cadets coming through have the skills and motivation to support them through the demands of their particular training program. This is because all training organisations differ slightly, even if the training content is largely the same. This is also beneficial from your point of view as a future cadet because it ensures that you have the ability to get through the training and to be successful before making a large commitment to your training and investing the time and finances. Without a selection process in place to determine readiness and suitability for training, it could lead to individuals struggling through certain elements of training or not being able to reach the required standard. So it's for the benefit of both parties to have a selection process in place. Additionally, the selection process can also provide an opportunity for feedback and ensure you go into your training with more awareness of your areas for development to support your self-improvement. For example, if the assessment process reveals some concerns around your technical knowledge, this is something you can try and develop ahead of starting your training, as well as ensuring you focus on this area in more detail throughout your training. Looking at what is being tested in more detail brings us to the core pilot competencies, which are the knowledge and behaviours that lead to you being successful in the role. ICAO have defined a number of core pilot competencies that are required for successfully performing the pilot's role, which are leadership and teamwork, communication, situational awareness, workload management, problem solving and decision making, application of knowledge, airplane flight path management, both manual control and automation, and application of procedures. How to actually measure these competencies through pilot aptitude testing has been defined in a document by IATA covering guidance material and best practices in pilot aptitude testing. The guidance details 6 key areas for measurement, which are English language proficiency, basic mental abilities, composite mental abilities, operational abilities, social interpersonal abilities, and personality traits. So let's break these down in a little bit more detail. English language proficiency is essential for the pilot role, and an ICAO Level 4 is the minimum standard acceptable for pilots. Basic mental abilities include cognitive factors such as memory, information processing, technical comprehension, and long-term concentration. Composite mental abilities cover psychomotor skills and spatial abilities, as well as multitasking and allocation of attention. So these skills are required for flight path management and control of the aircraft, as well as working with aircraft automation. Operational abilities include decision-making, problem-solving, workload management, and situational awareness to support management of different situations encountered in the pilot role. Social interpersonal abilities cover communication, teamwork, and leadership behaviors that are required to function as part of a flight deck crew. Personality traits then measure includes professionalism, safety motivation, coping with stress, and application of procedures. If you're taking part in pilot aptitude testing as part of your assessment, you'll likely be assessed against a number of different criteria which measure these key areas, as well as anything else of particular importance to the organisation. This could therefore look slightly different depending on the role or company you're applying to, as the key areas of importance may vary between different organisations. What can you expect? As a future pilot, you'll likely complete some form of pilot aptitude assessment ahead of starting your training. As we have looked at, these types of assessments may vary across organisations, though typically online assessments may include a combination of knowledge-based tests, aptitude tests, and personality or behavioural questionnaires. You may also need to take part in an interview or group exercise to further gain an understanding of your motivation and soft skills for the role. So if we think about how you can get yourself ready for these assessments, preparation is really key to any type of assessment. So try and find out what to expect. This can be through understanding the different tests or questionnaires you'll be completing and what they might involve. So make sure that you take the time to read through any information that has been sent to you by the organisation really clearly. And if you have any questions, ask your academy before starting. Assessment processes aren't there to trick you, so if something isn't clear, make sure you clarify your understanding to give yourself the best opportunity to prepare. In current times, remote assessments have become more and more common, but it's really important to make sure that these are approached with the same level of care as an in-person assessment, and there may also be a few additional things that you need to consider. For example, make sure the environment is suitable for completing the tests and is free from distractions as possible. So try and choose a quiet place where you're least likely to be interrupted. Make sure you take the opportunity to check your technology beforehand to ensure that you have a good, strong internet connection, and make sure that your computer meets the recommended system requirements before starting. Try and make sure that you don't start a test unless you have the time to complete that in one sitting, and take the time to read the instructions carefully. If you're completing a behavioural or personality questionnaire, try and answer these honestly and as yourself. Your results may be cross-checked, so it's best to be yourself rather than give what you think might be the right answer. Practicing some example tests beforehand can also be a really good way to prepare and familiarise yourself with the types of questions and scenarios you'll encounter, which can also help to reduce anxiety so you can perform to the best of your ability on the day. And also, again, to help identify any areas where you might need to devote a little bit more time to developing your knowledge and skills before taking the real test and moving forward with your training. There are lots of practice tests available for you online to familiarize yourself with styles of questions and the types of assessments that you'll undertake. However, these can vary significantly, so make sure you do your research to ensure that any preparation you're doing is going to be an accurate reflection of the actual assessment that you'll be doing. Practice and preparation are really key, so try and refresh your knowledge and practice as much as possible so you can go into the tests feeling confident and ready. Symbiotics offer a range of practice and preparation activities that can help support you on this journey as well. We'll now take a look about how you can prepare for the different types of assessments that you might face. So, knowledge tests, as we've discussed, these are the types of tests that are looking at your understanding of a particular topic area and measuring knowledge that will be necessary for your pilot training. For example, this might be around mathematics or physics. For knowledge-based tests, a useful preparation activity you can do is to get back to the basics of the topic area. This might be through revisiting high school, GCSE or equivalent type books and knowledge to help refresh your understanding of basic formulas and concepts, and then continue to build on this information, such as through practicing the calculations. Moving on to look at coordination type assessments. These types of tests typically involve more practical, hands-on tasks and can be designed to measure your hand-eye coordination and dexterity, amongst other things. There are lots of ways you can practice and hone your skills here. This can be through sports and activities such as aerobics, yoga, and team sports, all of which can improve your coordination through improving focus, concentration, and reaction times. Practicing a hobby or skill that requires fine motor control can also help to improve manual dexterity. For example, model making, learning a musical instrument, knitting. These types of activities can really build on your skills here. Or simple activities such as playing a game of catch can help improve hand-eye coordination. You can also practice online games and puzzles with a joystick to help improve your coordination and control. Similarly, try practicing your multitasking, such as carrying out more than one activity at a time or completing a practical task whilst answering cognitive type questions. Looking at personality questions or other preference behavioural based questionnaires. Personality underpins our preferences, our attributes, and our behaviours, all of which will determine how well we'll fit into a particular role. So personality questionnaires and other preference-based questionnaires allow us to assess individual characteristics, and this can then be used to help determine your suitability for a particular role. There isn't a right or wrong personality. It's just that there are some traits or characteristics that may be better aligned to a particular role or a particular training program. That's why it's really important that you answer honestly and openly when completing these questionnaires to ensure you are portraying the most accurate representation of yourself. To do this, try not to overthink the questions or second guess what is being asked of you. The questions aren't designed to trick you, so answer honestly. Looking more generally and holistically at the process, becoming a pilot is a huge undertaking, and it's important you have fully considered why you want to be a pilot to help ensure this is the right role for you. Take some time to think about the training you're potentially undertaking and what you think some of the challenges might be for you and how you can overcome these. This can help prepare you for any difficulties you might face during the training and support you in managing these situations. This will also be useful if you're required to undertake an interview as part of the entry process, as you may be asked to explain your motivation for wanting to join the particular flying school that you're applying to. Try and immerse yourself in the industry as much as possible. If you're able to speak to individuals at your chosen flight school who work in the industry, make the most of those contacts to develop your knowledge and learn what the realities of the role and industry are. Take some time to familiarise yourself with each of the core pilot competencies, as this can help you understand what will be expected of you in the pilot training and beyond, and may help you to evaluate your own skill set and where your strengths and areas of development may lie. Ensuring you have mentally prepared for the training can be as important as demonstrating you have the right skills and aptitudes to undertake the challenge. Mock interview practices with feedback to hone your interview skills and improve your confidence with the assessment process can also be a really useful strategy as well. There's more information about how Symbiotics can help you in any of these areas at our website. So, if you're planning on starting your pilot training, you'll want to ensure that you have the right knowledge, skills, and abilities to be successful in your training and perform in the pilot role before making the investment. The ATO or airline you're applying to will likely utilise pilot aptitude testing as part of their entry requirements to assess you on the competency areas we've covered and ensure you're ready to start your training. Preparation can be really key to passing these assessments, and by preparing ahead, you can make sure that not only are you ready to succeed in the assessment, but also that you have the right foundation of knowledge and skills to build on in your pilot training. If you're interested in finding out more, our pilot readiness test uses elements of the pilot aptitude testing process to identify how ready you are to undertake these tests. Featuring a mix of question styles, our readiness test provides an indicator of where your strengths and weaknesses may lie, allowing you to focus your preparation as you begin your journey to become a pilot. Thank you for listening. I hope this helps provide some insight into what you can expect as part of the assessment process, and good luck in your journey to becoming a pilot.